What's up everyone, it's Joe from the Wrong Channel, and I've been busy buying some retro games again. This is the third installment, I think. I've lost count, which is kind of sad because I haven't done too many of these, but I think it's the third installment that I've done for my retro game haul. So over the past, I've made a few different stops at a few different places, and I've got a whole stack of things to go over with today. And I guess I'll go over the miscellaneous things that I bought first. So, first up, Metroid. The original Metroid for the NES. I've actually been playing this one a lot recently. I've been trying not to use any guides or walkthroughs just to see how far I can get on my own. And I've gotten pretty far, I think. But that's a fun game. It's really a fun game. I've had experience with Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo, much more than I've had with Metroid, but, you know, Metroid's a classic. I haven't played it before, but like I said, I've been playing it recently, and I really dig it. Especially considering the kind of games that, like, the NES had, for the most part. You know, there were all kinds of basic games, and then you've got a game like Metroid, which really pushes the boundaries. And I'm just going to try to keep this video short and sweet, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I might do a review of it later on, just as itself. But for now, great game, glad I picked it up. Next, Contra. Another NES classic, a hard game. Ironically, both these games are heavily inspired by the Alien movies. I'd say Metroid is more of the first Alien, and then Contra is obviously more of Aliens. But I'm a fan of the Alien movies, so of course I'm going to be a fan of these games, right? I've had Contra 3 Alien Wars for the Super Nintendo since I was a kid, but I never had the original first two Contra games. So I'm glad I picked this one up. Like I said, these were all just kind of miscellaneous pickups for me. And I can't exactly remember which date I picked up which game, but I do have other piles for more specific dates. So you can't have Contra without Super C, right? I picked up Contra first with Metroid, and then later on I picked up Super C. Surprisingly, I got a lot farther playing Super C than I did playing Contra, and I don't really have much experience with either game, so I don't really know for sure which one is considered to be more difficult than the other, but I've not beaten either of them, obviously. A lot of these games I really haven't played much of, aside from Metroid, which I've played a lot recently, like I said. And A Nightmare on Elm Street, we actually did a live stream of this a couple of weeks ago. It's on the channel, there's a link to it somewhere. I might put it down in the description as well. But we played it for about an hour. We played two-player, so it was a little bit more difficult. I had played it on my own, and I got farther playing it by myself, but there's a lot of confusion when you play with two players because you kind of get mixed up between which player you are, and you stop looking at yourself and start looking at the other player, and you end up jumping into pits or getting hit by monsters. So I definitely recommend playing just single player if you're going to play it seriously. And it's crazy that this is one of the few games that actually could take 4 players. Maybe someday I'll get the 4-player adapter for the NES and give that a whirl, but I wouldn't count on it. I remember seeing this game for rent at a gas station of all places, like in the early to mid 90s. It was a raceway gas station or a racetrack gas station, one of those two. But I remember every time we would go to that gas station, I would always pick up this game, and it was the cartridge box, like the original box for the game. And I'd always look at the cover, flip it over, look at the back, read the back, and I was mesmerized by it. And funny enough, I would never play that game until having bought it just recently within the past month or so. So talk about a long wait. But it's a really fun game. It's kind of true to the series, I guess. As far as took on a little bit of a Jersey accent there. As far as Freddy Krueger like taking on different forms to fight the Elm Street children, that's how true this game is to the movie in that regard. Let's see what else. Metal Gear. Picked this up for about $10. I guess about a month and a half ago. I really haven't played this one too much. I've played more of Metal Gear Solid for the PS1. And aside from that, I really haven't played too many Metal Gear games. I know that they had a new one released recently in the past few months, and everyone was going crazy about it. And I was just like, meh. I was more concerned with the retro games at that point, so yeah, I didn't really play too many of the Metal Gear games, but I have seen people play this one, and just from my first impression of watching other people play it, it doesn't seem like too difficult of a game compared to other NES games. So maybe some weekend when I got some downtime, I'll go ahead and give it a whirl, see if I can power through it. And also recently, sounded like something was rattling, I picked up Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Another classic LJN game which has a bad reputation. But you know, as I've learned from other retro gamers, you can't really take a game for its reputation. You have to play it for yourself. The old 15-minute rule. Play it for 15 minutes, see how it feels. I can say that I haven't actually given this game the 15-minute rule just yet, but it is certainly on the list. Like I said, I've got a lot of games here, and I'm slowly working my way through them, but I'm not going to let the reputation of Who Framed Roger Rabbit keep me from playing it and enjoying it. I'll experience it for myself and see if it really is a bad game. And finally, from the miscellaneous games, Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, I already had the first two, so I decided I had to complete the trilogy. So I went ahead and picked up Super Mario Bros. 3. I'd say of the retro game stores that I shop around, I picked this one up from the one that's kind of the most sketchy. And I don't really want to come off sounding condescending or anything like that, but I mean, it's a really small shop, it's kind of run down, and the games are kind of dirty. And that was the problem with this game. When I first got it, I was having problems playing it. Either I would get the blinking light of death, or when the game would boot up, I was getting graphical glitches in-game. So I couldn't really play it, so I had to go ahead and clean it. And this was actually the game that inspired me to make the cartridge cleaning video that's been uploaded a few days ago. If you haven't seen that, give it a watch. You know, it's pretty informative, teaches you how to properly train your cartridges to get them nice and working clean and new again, which is definitely something I had to do for this, and it works pretty good now. So I think I did a good job cleaning it. Now, these three games are from a lot that I bought off of one of my friends. Somebody approached him with a whole box of NES games that they were just going to throw out, and asked my friend if he wanted them. He said sure. He was actually going to sell them himself or trade them in. Probably sell them, I think is what he said though. And I figured, you know, if you're going to sell them, you're not going to get as much cash as you probably could. So I went ahead, bought all the games. I think there were about 16 games, 2 controllers, and a few instruction manuals. I bought all of it off of them for a solid $100. And I kept a good handful of them, including these three. and then I took the rest to 8-Bit Oasis and traded it in for store credit. And I think I got about $65 worth of store credit. So it was a pretty good exchange, I would say. My friend got what he was hoping for, and I got what I was hoping for, and I'm sure 8-Bit Oasis also got what they were hoping for with more games and just more customer service, I guess, something like that. But the games that I kept, Kirby's Adventure, which I played a little bit. It's a pretty fun game. It's a pretty good NES title. Can't really say much beyond that because I haven't played it too much, just enough to kind of get a feel for the game. I actually watched KWKBOX, another channel you guys should check out. Watched him do a live stream of it a couple weeks ago. It's a pretty good live stream. Like I said, check out KWKBOX. He does a lot of retro game things, live streams, reviews, things of that nature. I'll put a link to his channel down in the description, but definitely check him out. Also in the pile was Mario Brothers, the original, the arcade game, not to be confused with Super Mario Brothers. I can honestly say I've never actually played this one before, other than the version that's on Super Mario All-Stars. But that one was kind of an updated version. This is the original version. And Tetris 2. Love me some Tetris. Unfortunately, it does not have the classic Tetris theme, which was like the Russian national anthem or something like that. It's not actually the Russian national anthem, I don't think. I just can't remember the name of it. But I love puzzle games like that, so of course I had to keep it. And I already had Tetris, so gotta get Tetris 2.